Welcome to the Deep Dive Learner. So I want you to just imagine a scenario for a second.
Okay, lay it on me.
Imagine you have this incredibly advanced AI doctor, right? And it's reviewing your medical chart.
Right, the dream of modern medicine.
Exactly. I mean, it's brilliant, it's fast, and it is processing thousands of these complex variables in like milliseconds.
Yeah, doing things a human just couldn't do.
Right. But then, suddenly, it hallucinates a severe penicillin allergy that you do not actually have.
Oh, boy.
And it locks that hallucination right into your treatment plan. So how do you even prove the artificial intelligence is wrong when, it controls the underlying database?
You really can't, and that's terrifying.
It's a completely terrifying thought.
Well, it is the core vulnerability of the entire automation age we're stepping into.
Yeah.
We are just rushing to give artificial intelligence the steering wheel to our finances, our infrastructure, and, like you said, our health.
Just handing it all over.
Totally. But AI has this massive memory problem. It can be incredibly smart, but it lacks any concrete grounding in actual reality.
Because it just predicts the next word, right?
Exactly. It can, and it does, just invent facts.
Yeah.
And when that AI is analyzing patient health records or, executing institutional financial trades, a hallucination isn't just some annoying little glitch.
Right. It's a total catastrophe.
It's life or death, or at least financial ruin.
Which brings us directly to the mission of today's deep dive. We are exploring the absolute bleeding edge of how artificial intelligence and blockchain technology are merging to solve this exact issue.
The massive modern problem of data trust.
Yes. And we've got a really fascinating stack of sources to guide us today.
It's quite the pile of documents.
It really is. So we are looking at a press release from a Brooklyn-based founder who goes by the moniker Pixelgod.
Interesting name.
Right. Very Web3. We've also got this highly detailed product and API pricing manifesto from them. And we have the actual navigation elements from their profoundly diverse ecosystem website.
It is a dense stack.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, it paints a picture of a system that is almost overwhelmingly ambitious in its scope.
Oh, you definitely get a sense of that ambition just looking at their branding.
Yeah, the logo is intense.
The sources actually included a description of this striking logo to set the scene. It's this metallic chain link-like, very heavy, very industrial.
Right.
But it's wrapping entirely around this glowing cyan data waveform.
Like a digital sound wave caught in a steel trap.
Exactly. That is exactly what it looks like. And underneath it, in this crisp, sharp text, it just says, Oracle on-chain.
The bold statement.
Very. Okay, let's unpack this. If AI is a super smart brain that can, sometimes hallucinate or forget things,
Yeah.
think of the blockchain as its permanent, immutable diary, so it can literally never gaslight you about what it did or why it did it.
I love that analogy. That permanent diary concept is really the only way this whole technological leap forward actually works.
Because you need the receipts.
Exactly. If we are going to hand over the keys to autonomous software agents, those agents absolutely cannot be allowed to grade their own homework.
No, that would be a disaster.
Right. They need a mathematically verifiable record of reality to check their assumptions against.
And what's wild about this story is the trajectory. Because, learner, I promise you, while this deep dive starts deep in the trenches of crypto and decentralized finance...
It's very deep in the trenches.
Yeah, it unexpectedly pivots into these high-stakes, life-or-death applications.
Which is the most surprising part of the whole stack.
But before we can understand who is using this technology, we really have to understand the fundamental mechanics of what Oracle on-chain has actually built over the last decade.
We do. And looking at the timeline in the press release, this is important. This is not some overnight startup just riding the current AI hype cycle.
You're right.
They have been building core blockchain infrastructure since 2013.
Wait, 2013?
Yeah, 2013.
In the technology sector, but especially in crypto, that is practically ancient history.
It really is. I mean, it means they were building the roads before most people even knew there were cars,
Wow.
And then the documents show they've actually been doing applied AI engineering since 2019.
So way before ChatGPT was everywhere.
Exactly. So they have their hands deep in both of these massively disruptive technological shifts long before they became mainstream dinner table buzzwords.
That context is super helpful. So what are they launching now?
Well, bringing these two worlds together, they're launching an expansion of their Model Context Protocol application suite.
or MCP as they call it.
Right, MCP.
Let's break down this MCP because the documentation states that the core of this technology is something they call the value extraction layer.
A value extraction layer, yeah.
It describes this layer as a set of on-chain and off-chain intelligence modules that take raw, chaotic operational data.
Which is mostly what data is: chaos.
Right, and it turns it into actionable, verifiable insights. There's a specific quote from Pixelgod's press release that I think just completely anchors their entire philosophy.
Let's hear it.
They wrote, "Institutions don't just need data, they need verifiable value extracted from that data."
We need to pause on that distinction because it is basically everything.
Break it down for us.
Data and value are not the same thing. In fact, modern institutions are completely drowning in data right now.
Oh, absolutely.
We have like petabytes of raw information
Yeah.
flowing through hospital networks, supply chains, financial markets, every single second of the day.
Just a fire hose of noise.
Exactly. But raw data doesn't make decisions.
Right?
Value is what you get when you take that data, mathematically prove that it has not been tampered with, and then synthesize it into a clear signal that an AI can actually act on safely.
Okay, let's make that concrete for the learner listening right now, because the sources actually include a literal code snippet to show how developers use this.
Oh, the SDK example, yeah.
Yeah, it shows a programmer instantiating the Oracle SDK, the software development kit, and they point their connection to a specific WebSocket.
Which is how the data flows.
Right. It reads wss://node1.oracle.xyz, and they use this to perform a cross-chain analysis.
Okay, so they're looking across different blockchains.
Exactly. In the example, they query an app called DeFi Lens to look at the volatility of an Ethereum to USDC trading pair.
Classic crypto use case.
But here's the kicker. The system doesn't just hand back a massive spreadsheet of pricing ticks.
Right, that would just be raw data.
Instead, it spits back a definitive single system signal. It literally just outputs. Strong boy confirmed.
Which is an incredibly bold output for an API to provide.
It really is.
I mean, it's not saying here's the price, you figure it out.
Yeah.
It is saying here is the verified strategic action.
But I have to push back here because looking at that example, wait, isn't this just a fancy crypto API?
I can see why you think that.
I mean, financial developers have been pulling pricing data off the blockchain for years. Why do we need this massive new value extraction layer? And what are these agentic workflows the documentation keeps referencing?
What's fascinating here is the mechanism they're using to achieve this, which they call a universal server abstraction.
Universal server abstraction.
Okay, that is the secret sauce. You're right, pulling a price feed is an old trick, but a traditional API usually just talks to one specific database.
Like a one-to-one connection.
Exactly. Oracle On-Chain has built a gateway where an AI agent can interact with any chain and any protocol simultaneously through a single access point.
Okay, when you say AI agent, clarify that for us. We aren't just talking about a chatbot, right?
No, not at all. An agentic workflow means the AI actually has agency.
Meaning it does things on its own.
Yes, it is an autonomous piece of software given a goal, and it makes its own decisions on how to achieve that goal without a human clicking approve at every single step.
That's a huge distinction.
It is. Now think of this universal server abstraction like a universal translator plug.
Okay.
Instead of that AI needing a different adapter for the Ethereum wall socket, the Solana wall socket, and a traditional banking database.
It just plugs into Oracle On-Chain.
Yes. The network translates everything perfectly in the background.
Okay, that makes sense for the translation part. I get that. But how does that actually solve the hallucination problem we talked about earlier?
Because it goes much deeper than just translation. Every single request and response that passes through that decentralized node network is cryptographically signed.
Meaning what exactly in practice?
Well, to understand this cryptographically enforced audit trail, don't just think of a digital lock.
Okay, what should I think of?
Think of a room of 10,000 independent accountants.
That's a lot of accountants.
Right. And before the system confirms that strong buy signal, all 10,000 accountants have to look at the raw data, do the complex math simultaneously, and independently agree that the math is totally flawless.
Oh, wow. So they all have to agree.
Yes. Only when they reach consensus is the signal locked in a glass vault and handed to the AI.
Ah, I see.
So the AI agent gets a high-fidelity context of what is happening, and it knows the data is perfectly accurate because the consensus mechanism actually proves it.
Okay, so we've solved the hallucination problem for financial trades. An AI agent can read crypto volatility and spit out strong buy signals based on mathematically proven data.
Exactly.
But, losing money on a bad trade is one thing. If an AI hallucinates, where is the absolute worst place it could possibly happen?
Edison.
Medicine. Which explains exactly why Oracle on-chain is taking this exact same cryptographic architecture and dropping it into a completely different, highly regulated world. Healthcare.
It is a massive, massive shift in stakes.
Totally different ballgame.
A bad medical decision based on incorrect or unverified data actually loses lives.
Yeah, the press release specifically targets healthcare, focusing heavily on environments where, and I quote, accuracy, trust, and auditability are mission critical.
That makes perfect sense for hospitals.
They are taking these MCP intelligence modules, literally the exact same ones analyzing Ethereum, and using them to power real-time clinical workflow optimization.
Wow.
They're doing predictive care routing, automated compliance, and secure data exchange across different medical institutions.
If you look at the reality of healthcare today, especially from the patient's perspective, it is a notoriously fragmented system.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
If you've ever had to, beg your primary care doctor to fax your blood work to a specialist across town.
Yes, because their computer systems just flat out refuse to talk to each other.
Exactly. You know exactly how broken this is. It is an operational mess.
Well, they actually have a specific app in their marketplace designed to tackle this. It's called Biotech Privacy.
Biotech privacy, I bet.
Yeah, it handles privacy-preserving medical data oracles and clinical trial tracking. And the defining feature across all of this is that every single decision event gets that cryptographically enforced audit trail you mentioned earlier.
The 10,000 accountants.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting. Imagine if every time a nurse updated your chart, or a clinical trial data point was logged, or your medication dosage was changed,
Yeah.
a digital notary public was standing right there, stamping it in ink that can never be erased, altered, or forged.
That is powerful.
That's what they are doing to hospital operations.
And doing so while somehow navigating au pairs and strict privacy laws, which is incredible. I mean, you might wonder, how do you put medical data on a blockchain without exposing it to the whole world?
Right, because blockchains are inherently public ledgers. I definitely don't want my cholesterol scores broadcast to the entire internet.
Exactly. Nobody does. And this is where the advanced cryptography comes in. Specifically, mechanisms like zero-knowledge proofs.
Zero-knowledge proofs. How does that work?
It allows the Oracle on-chain network to prove a statement is true without revealing the underlying data.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the system can cryptographically prove to a hospital, yes, this patient meets the exact criteria for your clinical trial, without ever showing the patient's name, date of birth, or actual medical records to the open network.
So it verifies the truth without showing the math.
Exactly. It is trustless trust. A hospital doesn't have to blindly trust an outside clinic's IT department. They just trust the math.
Which totally explains why the documentation emphasizes that this system is fully modular.
Because you can't just change everything at once.
Right. A hospital administrator isn't going to just rip out their entire legacy database on a random Tuesday. That would be complete chaos.
It would shut the hospital down.
Exactly. So they can adopt just one component, maybe just that biotech privacy module for clinical trials, or they can deploy the full stack.
And if they do, the AI routing the predictive care knows it isn't hallucinating your medical history because it's pulling from the immutable diary.
Precisely. It turns those fragmented, siloed hospital operations into a highly coordinated intelligence system.
Which really sounds like the holy grail of verifiable data.
It does. Whether you are a decentralized finance bot executing a trade or an institutional healthcare provider routing patient care, you need this truth machine.
You absolutely do.
But that brings us to the ecosystem itself, because if this is the holy grail, what does it actually cost to play in this sandbox? And frankly, who else is hanging out in here?
Ah, yes, the ecosystem.
Because looking at the sources, the ecosystem is where things get genuinely weird.
The ecosystem is where the chaotic reality of Web3 really clashes with traditional institutional norms.
Clash is putting it mildly. Let's just walk through the navigation menu of their app marketplace for a second.
It's quite the list.
It is a wild juxtaposition. On one hand, you have incredibly serious institutional tools. You have Security Core for instant contract audits and automated vulnerability assessments.
Right.
And you have The advanced healthcare analytics we just talked about.
Very sober, very professional enterprise software.
Exactly. But literally right next to those on the menu, like sharing the exact same platform, you have links to Memecoin University, an app called Whale Watcher, and a trading indicator app literally named Chart Candy.
Chart Candy.
Chart Candy.
It's amazing.
And the culture shock doesn't stop there. We have to look at their pricing manifesto, which they dramatically titled Choose Your Power.
Very dramatic.
The scaling here is aggressive. So the starter tier is $499 a month, giving you public app access and 1,000 requests a day.
Okay.
Then it scales up through a gold tier at $1,500 and a platinum tier at $2,500 a month.
Which is already premium enterprise pricing for an API gateway.
Oh, but they are just getting warmed up.
Here we go.
The Prestige Diamond tier is $5,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. That gets you a custom private MCP server, isolated global nodes, and something called a DAO multiplier. What does that even mean? How does a DAO multiply anything?
Well, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, basically a digital co-op governed by code.
Right.
A DAO multiplier allows a collective, say a consortium of independent medical clinics, to pool their resources.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they share a single massive API pipeline and distribute the cost and the cryptographic validation across their own subnetwork. It scales their access.
Okay, that actually makes sense. But then we hit the Obsidian Black tier at $10,000 a month.
That's a serious commitment.
10 grand. For that, you get something called network sovereignty and a dedicated node cluster.
Which is actually critical for institutional adoption.
Really? Why?
In normal cloud computing, you have what's called the noisy neighbor problem.
Okay.
If another website on your shared server goes incredibly viral, your website might actually crash.
Oh, right.
On a blockchain, if a new dog-themed meme coin explodes in trading volume, the entire network can get congested.
And fees go through the roof.
Exactly. Network sovereignty means Oracle on-chain physically isolates a cluster of cryptographic nodes exclusively for your use. The hospital's predictive care data isn't waiting in line behind a million speculative crypto trades.
Ah, that is vital. And finally, if $10,000 a month isn't enough, there's the custom Utopia tier.
Utopia.
Yeah, which offers platform equity, profit sharing, and get this, a human account manager.
At the Utopia tier, you finally buy the privilege of speaking to a human being.
Incredible. So what does this all mean? I really have to push back hard on this entire setup. We are talking about $10,000 a month for API access, and they are openly offering Memecoin University right next to privacy-preserving clinical trial tracking.
It's jarring, I know.
How do we reconcile this? If I am a hospital administrator responsible for mission-critical patient care, am I really going to deploy my hospital's infrastructure on a network that also hosts Chart Candy?
I mean, it sounds like a joke.
Right. How does that not end in a massive data breach?
It's a completely natural reaction to have, and it really highlights the totally unique nature of this technology.
Right.
From a traditional corporate branding perspective, it seems like a massive contradiction.
Huge.
But we have to remember the core ethos of the blockchain. It is fundamentally permissionless.
Meaning literally anyone can build on it, whether you're a doctor or a day trader.
Exactly. The infrastructure itself, this decentralized node network that Oracle on-chain has built, is completely agnostic.
It doesn't care who is using it.
Right. It doesn't care what kind of data it is securing, as long as the mathematical rules of the cryptography are followed. The underlying trust layer is so robust that it can simultaneously support a crypto trader looking for alpha signals to front-run a market, and a major hospital routing care based on clinical data.
But isn't sharing a network with all that chaotic crypto trading a massive liability for the hospital?
Actually, it is the exact opposite.
Really?
Yes. And this is the profound realization here. The crypto chaos acts as an evolutionary crucible. It is a real-time stress test.
Oh, I hadn't thought of it like that.
Decentralized finance is full of incredibly sophisticated, anonymous hackers trying to break the system every single minute to steal billions of dollars.
Sure, there are hacks all the time.
Right. But if Oracle on-chain's infrastructure can survive that hostile environment without failing, a hospital administrator can feel entirely confident that their digital notary isn't going to fail when routing a patient's chart.
That is fascinating.
The meme coins are effectively funding the highest grade security penetration testing in the world for your medical records.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. The chaos is the proof of concept.
Exactly.
The $10,000 a month for network sovereignty isn't just about buying API calls. It's about buying a dedicated, isolated piece of a globally secure truth machine that is battle-tested by the most ruthless financial markets on Earth.
Which brings us back to the core mission of this entire project. Oracle On-Chain, born out of Brooklyn by this founder, Pixelgod, isn't just trying to build a better database.
Yeah, clearly not.
They are positioning themselves as nothing less than the foundational API gateway for what they are calling the decentralized intelligence era.
They are building the infrastructure for a world where AI agents do all the heavy lifting, and the blockchain basically keeps those agents honest.
Precisely. That's the vision.
And that is exactly why this matters to you, learner, listening to this right now. Even if you aren't a developer deploying agentic workflows or some hospital administrator paying $10,000 a month for a private MCP server,
You are still a part of this.
yes, you are a patient. You are a consumer. You are an investor. The systems managing your life, your money, and your health are increasingly being handed over to artificial intelligence.
And as we discussed at the very beginning, AI has a dangerous habit of making things up.
It really does. The push for 100% on-chain verified context, this immutable diary secured by 10,000 digital accountants, is how those systems will prove to us that they are operating on the actual truth.
It is likely the only way we will be able to maintain trust as automation sweeps through every major institution in our society.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up this deep dive, there is one final puzzle I want to leave you with, learner, building on everything we've unpacked today.
This is the big question.
We've talked extensively about how the system creates a cryptographically enforced audit trail for every single decision event.
Right.
Let's say a hospital deploys one of these autonomous AI agents to route predictive care. It relies on the Oracle on-chain network, it checks the math, the consensus is reached, the data is perfectly verified. But the AI's ultimate strategic decision turns out to be disastrous for a patient.
That is the ultimate unresolved tension right there.
Right. Who holds the liability in that scenario?
Good question.
Is the mathematical protocol responsible because it provided the verified context? Or is the human administrator who originally deployed the AI agent responsible, even though that human had absolutely no part in the real-time decision-making process?
It's a legal and ethical minefield.
As we fully enter this decentralized intelligence era, we really have to ponder what the word trust means when there is a perfect, immutable diary of facts, but absolutely no human in the loop to take the blame when things go wrong.
It's a stark reminder that a verifiable record of reality doesn't necessarily guarantee a wise decision.
Exactly. The math might be perfect, but the medicine still has to be right. So next time you hear about AI getting smarter, remember, a super smart brain still needs a permanent diary to prove it isn't gaslighting you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Space is limited, paper's not. Big energy in it.